I'm back at my door again. I finished putting the trim on both sides. I've actually sanded the other side, and I'm getting ready to sand this one now. And this door made me think of the topic for this video, because I had a number of comments from people on this video about using plywood like this for something that's supposed to stay nice and flat. This is a door for inside my house, and typically you want your doors to be absolutely flat with no twist or cupping or bending or any of that stuff. You've often probably seen a bent lamination, like in a seat back. They'll cut thin strips of wood and they'll laminate them together, but in a curve. And when the thing dries, like when the glue dries, they take it out of the form and it retains that shape. And it's the same process right here. When I made this door, I set up my workbench here with a couple of sheets of plywood on there to provide a flat surface to clamp this down to. And that's the form for this. This keeps this flat while the glue dries. So I'll go into a little bit more detail on lamination while I'm doing this. Say you have two pieces of solid wood here, and it's very important that you have a piece that is not only strong but stays nice and straight. The best way to do that is to either select, like be very selective with the wood that you use, and find absolutely nice straight grain wood without any defects. And the defects in this instance would be waves in the grain or knots like this over here. Wherever there's a knot, that means the wood is denser right there, and it will affect how it moves. And as it picks up moisture during the summer and releases it during the winter, it'll move, especially in that area right there. So if you want to make something that's straight, you'll take two pieces, two thinner pieces, glue them together solidly, with them clamped into a straight form. And then after you take it out of that, it has a much better chance of staying straight, even if the wood that you're using is not the best, if it has some defects, if it has some wavy grain or whatnot. Because what's happening is that as this side over here, you can say, picks up moisture from the air, so does this one, and they kind of can counterbalance each other. It's almost impossible to align these two pieces of wood, unless they're from the same board, like cut consecutively, to align these two pieces of wood so that they are complementary to each other, so that when this one bends, when it picks up moisture, say this way, this one bends the same way. It's virtually impossible to align them like that, unless, like I said, you cut them from the same board. So you'll almost always have a situation where it'll be like the yin and yang of wood here. They'll be fighting against each other. It's not a very violent fight now. There's just this one's trying to pull this way, while this one's trying to pull this way, and what you reach is a balance in the wood, and it stays straighter. And to boot, it also becomes stronger. Laminated wood, for the most part, if you use the right glue, is stronger than the equal size solid wood. Check out LVL's, laminated veneer lumber. That is layers of what it looks like plywood, but the actual layers are all going the same way. And that results in a member or a piece of wood that is way stronger and way more dependable. Like you can actually measure the strength of it and say, if I make another one like that from that type of wood, it doesn't even have to be wood that is good as a sample. You can say you can count on this amount of strength. Well, I hope that was somewhat helpful. And I'm going to go now, and I'm going to sand my door, and then I'm going to bring it into my kitchen where I'm going to be painting it so that I can hang this door tomorrow.